Right now.
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 Because it's time to right now.
Right now.
Right
Right now.
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 Because it's time to right now.
Right now.
Right.
Welcome, my friends, to another late night writing sesh. I almost didn't feel like doing a writing sesh today, but you know what? This is the motto. When we don't feel like writing, write anyway. So, welcome. We're going to see how long we can push through. I'm going to push into the next chapter, and come join me for a free write. We're going to see just what we can accomplish. So, let's do it. I am going to be continuing on with the next chapter as I'm working on Scarecrow and I am working on the third draft. I'm feeling pretty accomplished. I was able to push through at a great additional writing sesh yesterday, and I pushed through to 25% completed with the third draft. So feeling pretty happy with my accomplishment. The first quarter of the book is now ready for feedback as I start going towards the feedback loop of readers and editors. So I'm going to start that process as I continue onwards. So like I said, we're going to see what we can do. I might not go super long, but I'm going to push myself into the next chapter. Unfortunately, the next chapter I know needs some work. I have Act 2, which is book 2 of The Last Scarecrow. There is one chapter that needs to be fixed, and it is this chapter. Oh man, the one chapter I wasn't looking forward to fixing, but you know what? We're gonna read through it and we're gonna see what we see. I think it's because some the timeline needs to be clarified. As you can see, I also use my story Bible, so I also have my list of things that need to be adjusted and addressed. I got 4 more dots that I got to touch on in this chapter, so let's see what we see. Chapter 11, The Last Mission. The world flashed a brilliant... Actually, let me see. I want to see how long I bookmarked this chapter. So this is book 2. Let's see. This isn't a super long chapter. 3, 4, 5, 10, until 13, 14, 15. So about 15 pages. The longest chapter in the book at this point. I mean, by this point in the novel. All right. So... Chapter 11, The Last Mission. The world flashed a brilliant white light as Scarecrow collapsed onto a pile of dirt. In the blink of an eye, the world had changed drastically. No longer was he... In the blink of an eye, the world had changed drastically. The world flashed a brilliant white light as the world flashed a brilliant white... The world flashed a brilliant white light as Scarecrow collapsed onto a pile of dirt. The world flashed. A brilliant white light flashed. A brilliant white light flashed in all directions as Scarecrow collapsed onto a pile of dirt. In the blink of an eye, the world had changed drastically. No longer was he in the confines of the tower. No longer was in the confines of the Red Tower. He stood beside a giant water fountain. Oh, interesting. That's right. He stood beside a giant water fountain that spewed a golden sparkling substance. That spewed a golden sparkling liquid. He bent over to scoop up a handful, but it passed through his hands. He bent over to scoop up a handful, but the liquid passed through his hands. But the liquid passed through his hands. Let's go substance here. He bent over to scoop up a handful, but the liquid passed through his hands. Looking first at his palms, then the rest of his body, Was he transparent? Swiping his hands through his chest proved he was no longer in the world he had once known. Swiping his hands through his chest proved he was no longer in the world he had once known. Swiping his hands through his chest. I don't know if I like that phrasing. Swiping his hands through his chest proved that his physical body was no more, or that his physical. I don't think I like that either. Looking first at his palms and the rest of his body, was he transparent? Swiping his hands through his chest only added to the unease. Interesting, I like that. Hey, what's up, Kay? Hey there. Having some insomnia and saw you go live. Thought I'd pop by and at least boot the like button. I appreciate you, my friend. I'm like definitely at a much later hour. I'm like surprised to see you awake. Saw you're dealing with some insomnia, but you know what? Always here for some writing inspiration, regardless of the time. Oh man. All right, let's see. I was like, I still don't know if I like the opening paragraph for this. All right, chapter 11, the last mission. A brilliant white light flashed in all directions as Scarecrow collapsed onto a pile of dirt. In the blink of an eye, the world had changed drastically. No longer was he in the confines of the Red Tower. He stood before a giant water fountain that spewed a golden sparkling substance. He bent over to scoop up a handful, but the liquid passed through his hands. Looking first at his palms, then the rest of his body, was he transparent? Swiping his hands through his chest only added to the unease. New City rose before him. The towering swiping his hands through his chest only added to the unease. Looking up, he realized that new city rose around him. I don't think I like that. Swiping his hands through his chest only added to his unease. Swiping his hands through his chest, he turned to survey his surroundings. New city rose around him. The homes no longer in ruins. The walls stood tall and glistening in the sun. Beneath him was a hard, gray, rocky substance. Zip by in either direction. All right, I see where I'm setting this up. All right, this is a much older timeline. Okay, like almost everyone is surprised to see me up this early. Though usually I'm up at 3 a.m. Anyway, good luck with the revisions. I'm going to try to get back to sleep. Good luck with trying to catch up on some sleep, my friend. Let's see. He turned to survey his surroundings. New city rose around him. The homes no longer in ruins. The walls stood tall and glistening in the sun. Beneath him was a hard, gray, rock-like substance. Beneath him was a concrete gray rocky substance. Dotted yellow and white lines zipped by. Painted dotted yellow and white lines. Painted dotted yellow and white lines zipped by in either direction. A door opened nearby. A door opened nearby as a creator popped their head out. Scarecrow Scarecrow waved at them, but there was no acknowledgement. Waved at them, but there was no acknowledgement. The creator looked dazed and confused. Scarecrow spun around to find a group of young creators walking around the fountain with similar looks strewn upon their faces, with similar looks. He jumped when two more creators, a man and a woman, strode through him, walked through him. They wore that same walked through him, wearing those same dazed expressions, donning the same dazed expressions. Welcome. Welcome, reverberated. Welcome, reverberated. A pristine, metallic, reverberated. A precise, metallic voice. To the beginning of the end, Scarecrow. The last robot. Where are Scarecrow trailed off as he turned, as he found himself face to face with the last robot, whose appearance was greatly changed. The robot's body was no longer rusted. The robot's body no longer rusted. The robot's body no longer rusted, was instead sleek, silver. The robot's body no longer rusted, was instead a sleek silver, without even a dent. The lights was sleek silver without a dent. The robot's oval body no longer rusted. Let's go angular. The robot's angular body no longer rusted. Angular body was no longer rusted, was sleek silver without a dent. The lights, dials, and buttons beeped steadily, while their individual lights remained present. The lights, dials, and buttons beeped steadily. Beeped steadily without delay. There was almost a shiny gloss to its appearance, making there was almost a shiny gloss to its appearance, as if it were brand new, as if it were brand new. How are you? A roar of thunder drowned out his words. A glance up revealed a beautiful summer sky devoid of clouds. How was that possible? Hey, what's up, No? All right. All right, I see. All right, this is what we're going to do. All right, I know. Okay, I figured out what I need to change. Okay, I think I've figured out how I'm going to do this because really this first section is just setup. Um, Okay. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I opened this up with so I changed the settings so it was a little more modern. I think I gave enough clues to make it feel slightly more modern. Um hmm. So let's see how that sound. So a brilliant white light flashed in all directions. The scarecrow collapsed onto a pile of dirt. In the blink of an eye, the world had changed drastically. No longer was he in the confines of the red tower. He stood before a giant water fountain that spewed a golden sparkling substance. He bent over to scoop up a handful, but the liquid passed through his hands. Looking first at his palms, then the rest of his body. Was he transparent? Swiping his hands through his chest only added to the unease. He turned to survey his surroundings. New city rose around him. The homes no longer in ruins. The homes no longer in ruins. The pristine silver walls stood tall and glistening in the sun. The homes no longer in ruins, while the pristine silver walls surrounding the city stood tall and glistening in the sun. Screens with strange flashing images dotted many of the home's exteriors. Screens with strange flashing images dotted. Beneath them was a concrete gray rocky substance, painted, dotted yellow and white lines zipped by another direction. I used dotted twice. Screens with strange flashing images speckled many of the home's exteriors. Screens with strange flashing images speckled many of the home's exteriors. There's a better word choice, but I'll let it pass for now. A door opened nearby as a creator popped their head out. Scarecrow as a creator popped their head out. As a creator, a door opened nearby as a creator with plain hair, freckles, and as a creator with plain hair, freckles, and as plain a complexion as the others popped their head out, and a plain complexion. A door opened nearby as a creator with plain hair, freckles, and a fair complexion popped their head out. Scarecrow waved at them, but there was no acknowledgement. The creators seemed in a hurry as they shut the door and rushed down the dotted path. Many creators of different shapes and sizes passed by in various directions, all in a rush to be elsewhere. Welcome, a deep metallic voice reverberated, to the beginning of the end, Scarecrow. Scarecrow trailed off as he found himself face to face with the last robot, whose appearance was also greatly changed. The robot's angular body, no longer rusted, was sleek silver without a dent. The lights, dials, and buttons beeped steadily without delay. There was a near shiny gloss to its appearance, as if it were brand new. "How are you?" A roar of thunder drowned out his words, as a beast that wasn't a beast flew through him. Atop the beast rode a creator, also in a rush. Scarecrow tried to cover his head, but again his hands passed through him. The last robot's hand rested on his shoulder. Scarecrow looked up into the large, kind gray eyes, into the large, kind gray eyes. Their glow made him want to smile. Listen, watch, and absorb. No, I don't think we need memories. The last robot whispered, each syllable articulate and precise. The glow in those gray eyes magnified. The glow magnified. Scarecrow tried to turn away. Entranced, blink. In the passing of a blink, Scarecrow rubbed his eyes as the world changed. Interesting. What's up, Francisco and Killer Gamer? Welcome. I'm doing good. Just getting some work done on Zeus chapter and Dark Fable. Welcome, my friends. Hope all is well. Francisco, nice. You said you're just thinking of a good idea for a Q&A panel. Woo! Love it. I know many of you are probably obviously aware of our upcoming holiday writing event, the Right Now-a-thon. Super cool. Yeah, everyone should sign up to host a session. We have we'll be accepting well over 50 to 70 spots overall. There's probably going to be a high demand for it. We already have a good number of signups coming in. So definitely everyone, highly recommend sign up for a spot. If you want to know more about the Right Now-a-thon, it's going to be our end of year major holiday writing event. It's all linked down in the YouTube description if you want to know more, but it's going to be super cool. What better way to celebrate to end the year off than with a writing celebration? Hope you guys are all doing well. I wouldn't say I'm struggling, but this is a chapter. I just got to Act 2 of my book, and this is like the one chapter in Act 2 that I know needs to be fixed, and I was not looking forward to it. This is the only chapter. Let's see. This is probably the only chapter in the book that really needs to be fixed right now. And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it, but I need to do it. When you don't feel like writing, write anyway. All right. Scarecrow rubbed his eyes as the world changed. Yeah, all right. We're just going to make it through this chapter and see how it turns out. Scarecrow. I need to be better about my spacing like that. Scarecrow rubbed his eyes as the world changed. He stood in the largest room he had yet to experience. He stood in a large room. He stood in a gigantic square room. He stood in a gigantic oval room. Magnificent statues were shaded. Magnificent statues lined the walls. Lining the walls were magnificent statues. Lining the walls were magnificent statues, shaded in various colors. Paintings of all shapes and sizes hinted at far-off places. Outside the window, an eclipsed sun darkened the sky, while snow fell. All right, I know what I need to change. No, let's keep going with that. Okay. He stood in a gigantic oval room. Lining the walls were magnificent statues shaded in various colors. Paintings of all shapes and sizes hinted at far-off places. He stood in a gigantic oval room. Lining the walls were pillars and magnificent statues shaded in various colors. Paintings of all shapes and sizes adorning the wall. Adorning the walls were paintings of all shapes and sizes, hinting at far off places. Outside. The entire ceiling was one glass window. The entire ceiling was one glass window. A glass window comprised the entire ceiling. A glass window comprised the entire ceiling. Outside, an eclipsed sun darkened the sky while snow fell. A low, wolf-like growl shifted his attention to the center of the room, where a group of 3 creators perched on stumps. Standing proudly before them was a tall, scrawny man in a brown leather coat, hood pulled over his face. His knee-length boots Let's see. A low wolf-like growl shifted to the center of that room, where a group of 3 creators perched on. Where a low wolf-like growl shifted his attention to the center of the room, where a group of 3 creators perched on stumps. Standing proudly before them was a tall, scrawny man in a brown leather coat, hood pulled over his face. His knee-length boots squeaked as he stepped forward. Pointing as he shouted. I don't give a damn what's left. His stance hardened as he refused to back down. Hatred, scorn, and disdain lined the 3 creators' hawk-like eyes. Each of them wore extravagant furs. Furs and hides, stained with spots of gold and red. The short one the short one in metals and furs spat. You cursed us to damnation, and our decision is final. Let's not cut that off. You cursed us to damnation, betrayer. And our decision is final. Oh, the scene. All right. Hey, what's up, Stephanie? Welcome, welcome, my friend. Hope all is going well. I'm also working edits this weekend. Next week, more drafting. I feel you there. I'm trying to make it through the section. First thing, I'm asking myself how I feel about this chapter. Let's see. I refuse to harm you, the betrayer cried. He reached over his shoulder to retrieve a staff. As the tip unfurled from beneath his coat, a blood-red crystal touched then glowed. Hmm. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome, Vomika and ML. Yes, I am up a little late this evening. The scene. We're seeing how it comes out. All right. I think that's a good point. I did about an hour, and I wasn't even thinking that I would make progress. I'm kind of going back and forth. I have to see how I feel. This next bit I know is actually even harder. This next bit is timeline. We're doing some world building and some plot setting for the Scarecrow's mission. Okay. Yeah, the next bit of the chapter is a montage. All right. Well, we're gonna see how this turns out. All right. So, what has the chapter introduced so far? So far, the chapter introduces uh, a snapshot of humanity. It basically introduces a snapshot of humanity in its final days. It also introduces or suggests change. It suggests their changed behavior and the introduction of our antagonist. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's what I think that's what I've accomplished for tonight. I'm like thinking through how this the rest of this chapter is supposed to be. Oh, like I said, this is the one chapter in the book where I was like, this is actually the only chapter in the book that I know needs to be fixed. I have to like think about if I like the direction of this chapter. Yeah, I just have to think about it. Oh God. This next part's about to be a montage that takes us through a bit of a timeline. Well, we'll see. I mean, this is the lead in into Act 2, and it's also setting the mission. It's also setting up Scarecrow's mission. Man. All right. Well, we're gonna see. Cuffin needs to think about this some more. Hey, what's up, Angel? Welcome, my friend. I'm surprised to see you still alive. Yes, and I think you've just caught me at the tail end. So that's about all I got for you tonight, my friends. Nice. You have 6 chapters and epilogue with a sneak peek into book 2 of your fantasy series. So happy for you, Angel. That's actually really cool that you're making some solid progress in your end. Congrats, my friend. Absolutely incredible. I know how that feels, being able to get out progress with our books. I think I once again, guys, today was a writing sprint. I didn't feel like writing, but you know what? The motto, if we don't feel like writing, write anyway. We did about an hour, been streaming for an hour and 15, so I feel accomplished. God, this chapter is going to be the bane of my existence for the next 2 days. But we're going to make it. We're going to power through it, and we're going to make it awesome because the second act is actually really incredible. Okay. Well, that's all that I got for you, my friends. Like I said, we just got writing sprints the whole week, so I'll be back sometime tomorrow. I'll see if I end up doing an early afternoon one or another midnight sesh tomorrow. Come back and join. We'll get some work done this week. Once again, if you want to know more about the Right Now-thon, click down in the YouTube description. Come host a session. Come be part of the end of year writing celebration for all of the writing communities. We want you to be there. So that's all that I got for you, my friends. We're going to push through and we are going to make progress. But unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. Words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kaufman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers. It's time to write.
Right now.
Sorry.
Right now, not right now, but right now. Read now, right now. Is that